It definitely gets into some major ableism. Like, why is it problematic to be on a medication for the rest of your life? All intentional weight loss is fake to some extent. Like, it's all manipulating your body in a direction it doesn't naturally want to go in.
Yeah. I mean, the choice is drugs or eating disorder.
I think all of this tradwife aesthetic taking over influencer culture and who's getting brand deals also very much ties into how much this is driven by the political climate right now, which is obviously a dumpster fire.
'Cause it's hard to be a person with a body these days when bonkers TikTok diets are all the rage. And why are the seats so damn small on the airplane? 'Cause it's hard to be a person with a body these days.
Welcome to Indulgence Gospel After Dark. If you're listening to this, you are part of Extra Butter, which means you're our favorite burnt toasty.
Your support makes all our work possible and keeps Burnt Toast an ad and sponsor-free space.
Today, we are going to talk about the state of GLP-1 discourse. A few recent media pieces have us wondering if the GLP-1 backlash is finally beginning, and if so, why is all of the coverage still so anti-fat?
Okay, so we're going to use two primary texts for this conversation, but I also want us to talk kind of more generally about how we're seeing the conversation shift, because I feel like there's been like a kind of amorphous shift, wouldn't you say?
I think the initial craze has died down a little bit,
Yep.
and we're just starting to see a more nuanced conversation.
Which in many ways I think is good. I think there's more nuance on both sides, which is good. But I think there's also still a lot of harm being done in the way the media is framing this conversation.
For sure.
Okay, so Exhibit A on that front is a piece by Danny Bloom that ran on January 15th in the New York Times Well section. And the headline was, "The Hard Truth of Weight Loss Drugs. You Probably Need to Be on Them Forever." So, Corinne, immediate first reaction to that headline.
No shit, Sherlock? Like, what? Were people confused about this?
I guess people really were.
Oh my
It seemed
God.
obvious that if a drug makes you lose weight, if you go off the drug, you won't continue to lose the weight.
Yeah, unfortunately, except for like maybe antibiotics, that seems to be how drugs work.
Yes.
You have to stay on them.
Yes, and unless it's like a short-term curable condition,
Yes.
a la something antibiotics is treating, that's not going to be, yeah. There's a lot that comes up for me in this piece. I mean, so it's looking at some new research, bringing to light the fact that when people go off the weight loss drugs, which very many people do because they can't tolerate the side effects, it's too expensive, they just get tired of it, lots of reasons that people fatigue about being on a weekly injection type of drug. They're seeing now that people regain the weight. And this is being framed as like a grave disappointment and surprise in the article.
Yeah. Not to me, but to Oprah?
Oprah, particularly. Oprah was surprised. They referenced the fact that even Oprah said she had stopped taking a weight loss drug cold turkey for a year and then gained back 20 pounds. "I tried to beat the medication," she told People magazine. "It was then she realized it's going to be a lifetime thing." Okay, also brilliant marketing for Weight Watchers there, Oprah. Oh, she's just like us. She too thought she could go off it, but you can't. You should be on it forever, so probably buy your GLP-1s from Weight Watchers. Of course, she
Yeah.
wants us to be on it forever. She has a business incentive to make that work. It definitely gets into some major ableism. Like, why is it problematic to be on a medication for the rest of your life? I have asthma. I expect to use an inhaler to manage that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
We now know I have sleep apnea. I expect to use a CPAP for the rest of my life. Most people with mental health conditions expect to be on an SSRI for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem?
I don't know, but I do literally think there's something about human nature where people are like, I don't want to be on a medication for the rest of my life. How many people have you heard say that? I've heard so many people say that.
Oh, for sure. And it's so often the main resistance to starting a medication. But why? What is it about it that makes us sad?
We want to believe that we're strong and independent and don't need pills to make us okay.
You and I are going to wear glasses for the rest of our lives.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, like I am extremely screwed. So many medications, so many glasses.
I do often think, okay, if the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm out in the first week.
Yeah.
Because they break my glasses, I lose an inhaler. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to try that hard to survive. Even my acid reflux medication, which is, I don't have debilitating acid reflux, but it's irritating.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be like, no.
I mean, yeah, same.
Take me now.
I
don't
take
wanna...
multiple medications every single day that I would be lost without, if not dead.
So I don't quite understand the weird aversion to that because I think it's great that I get to breathe through the help of medication. Like, I'm a big fan.
I think what you're hinting at is it's ableism.
Yeah, it's ableism. We want to believe that we can overcome these challenges. And we see it especially in conditions that are weight linked in any way. This is why people get told to diet before starting a blood pressure medication or a cholesterol medication when it's like, but those drugs work really well to manage those conditions.
And diets don't.
And diets tend to not to. So is it a moral failing to have to go on a statin? I don't think so.
I know. I feel like the other kind of hidden thing here that they're not talking about directly is, and we've talked about this before, studies also show that people who take these drugs for conditions like diabetes, insulin resistance, whatever, also don't tend to stay on them super long term because they're hard fucking drugs to be on.
Yeah.
So this article is so sad for people who got to lose weight on these. They will have to be on them forever if they want to, quote unquote, keep the weight off. But also so sad for people who actually do need to take these to manage chronic conditions.
Right. Meaningful conditions.
Because the drugs suck in a lot of ways and people don't want to be on them.
Yes. And that feels like a valid reason to be like, I don't want to be on a drug for the rest of my life if it's giving you terrible side effects.
Yeah.
Like my inhalers don't give me terrible side effects. I just like breathing and want to do it all the time. I'm an oxygen addict.
Kind of selfish.
Yeah, I know. Yes. If it's a medication that's giving you side effects, I totally understand not wanting to be on it for life. And for folks who are pursuing this just for weight loss, independent of metabolic health, maybe that's a reason to reflect on whether you need to do that. It is a depressing thing to say, I will be on a medication that gives me diarrhea or fatigue or whatever side effects, but at least I can be a size whatever. That does feel like something to reflect on. That reflection is nowhere in this article, however.
The article really doesn't mention like side effects at all, does it?
It mentions that that's why a lot of people in the studies are going off the drugs. It's this weird catch-22 where they're like, oh, people are like, wow, it's so expensive, or wow, I have terrible side effects, so I go off it. And then they're kind of framing it like those people were quitters, they gave up. But then on the other hand, I also think some of this aversion around you wouldn't want to be on this medication for the rest of your life is another layer of the anti-fatness, because I think the message is we shouldn't let fat people get away with thinness this way. We don't want them just like passing for thin because they can just stay on a GLP-1 forever. Oof. We want them to do the real work of weight loss. I think that's a layer here where people, the idea that you could only achieve the weight loss by staying on the medication forever makes the weight loss feel fake to people.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because all intentional weight loss is fake to some extent. It's all manipulating your body in a direction it doesn't naturally want to go in. So why we penalize medication-based weight loss versus excessive running-based weight loss, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's also a nice shout out to RFK, who also thought they would just be a short-term fix for people, and then we'd go back to eating beef tallow to stay thin, and turns out that's not science, but
oh my God.
I don't think we're surprised he's not science. And then, I mean, this is, again, another flavor of the anti-fatness in this piece, is just the casual normalization of the idea that you could do this the old-fashioned way. So in talking about folks who are able to lose the weight even after they go off The article says, it's not impossible, but it is extremely difficult. Dr. Hauser estimates that fewer than 10% of her patients have successfully kept off 75% or more of the weight they lost after going on a GLP-1 without turning to another weight loss medication or undergoing bariatric surgery. Those are the people that are working out 2 hours a day, tracking what they eat. They're working really hard, she said. I haven't had anyone that just tapers off and isn't really putting that much thought into it and just keeps the weight off. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
Just casual normalization of eating disordered behavior there, because working out 2 hours a day and tracking what you eat is not a normal way to live.
Yeah, I mean, the choice is drugs or eating disorder.
Okay, friends, here's where we leave you. To get full access to this conversation, you need to come on over to Burnt Toast on Patreon. If you're brand new to Burnt Toast, just go to patreon.com/Virginia Soul Smith to join us. Thanks so much for listening and supporting anti-diet, body liberation journalism.